Welcome back everyone. In this lecture we are going to use a tool named as WhatWeb. Now as its name states WhatWeb, that means it discovers all the web related details of our target. Now WhatWeb tool looks for a more technical aspect of information gathering. It gathers us details about the softwares, it gathers information about the servers a website is using, what plugins that website is using, and whatsoever regarding that website's technical aspect. So let's do it straight as usual. Make sure that you have your OSBW machine running in the background, and all we need is to run WhatWeb tool, and then we have to type your IP address of your target we want to scan. So let's do it, and first open our terminal here and enlarge the size, and here we have to type WhatWeb. So once you type WhatWeb, and the IP address of my machine was 192.168.29.124, and once we hit enter, let's wait for the output to be presented to us. So it says execution expired, so let's check if our machine is running or not. So if we type here something, okay, the website is completely fine and running. And if we type this command again, let's see if we can get our output now. Okay, so as you can see, we have got the output, and as we can see, it tells us the IP address here. It says code 200. Okay, that means the web page is completely loaded. It tells us that it uses Apache 2.2.14 for server. It tells us some mods, it tells us about its country, it tells us about email addresses, HTML5 plugins, HTTP servers, and some plugins, jQuery. It tells us the IP address as well, that we already know. It tells us about OpenSSL, it tells us about PHP passenger. It tells us that it uses Perl and Python 2.6.5 as well. So this is how we can get a look at the technical side of a website or our target, and it basically allows us to discover technologies behind a certain website. And what could be our next step is to take perhaps Apache version and Google this version whether it has some known vulnerabilities that exist. And now this is not just a regular command. With WhatWeb you can discover many things, and what else we can do with whatever, we can run this command, which is WhatWeb help. So let's type here WhatWeb dash help, and we will get a help menu. So if we will scroll a little bit up, it gives us a big huge banner of WhatWeb with dollar signs, and it tells us that WhatWeb is next generation web scanner version of 0.55. It tells us its usage, like we can type WhatWeb and whatever the option it is providing us, and then the URL or IP address of a website name, website domain name, or its IP address as well. Also telling that in the target we can enter URLs, we can enter host names, IP addresses, file names, and even if possible IP ranges. It tells us we can give it input files as well. We can modify a target, we can add prefix and suffix to target URL, insert targets into a URL, and we can also control the aggression level, and that trades off between speed and stealth and reliability. Level 1 of aggression is stealthy, level 3 is very aggressive, and level 3 is very heavy. You can read the description about them as well, as it says the aggressive level. If a level 1 plugin is matched, additional request will be made. You can read about some HTTP options here, you can read some proxy options, some plugin options, and if you don't understand, you can just simply stop and read them all in your terminal. What else you can use to get more information about any tool, or specifically this tool, is you can type WhatWeb here and type command man. Now man WhatWeb command gives us a complete manual of this tool, and you can use it with any other tool as well if you don't know what that tool does. So it tells us name of this tool, that is WhatWeb, and it is a next generation web scanner to identify technologies used by websites. It gives us the synopsis, it gives us the description that tells us WhatWeb identifies websites, and its goal is to answer the question What is that website? As its name states, WhatWeb recognizes web technologies including content management systems, blogging platforms, statistics, analytics package, JavaScript libraries, web servers, and many more. WhatWeb can be stealthy and fast or thorough but slow. WhatWeb supports an aggression level to control the trade-off between speed and reliability. When you visit a website in your browser, the transaction includes many hints of what web technologies are powering, and that website, sometimes a single web page which contains enough information to identify a website when it does not. Now WhatWeb can interrogate the website further. As you can see, the default level of aggression called passive, as it is fastest and requires only HTTP request of website, and this is suitable for scanning public websites. More aggressive level are deployed for in penetration tests. That simply means if you don't have the permission to scan a particular website or particular server, you should not use the maximum aggression level. If you don't have permission, do not use unless you are a penetration tester and you are performing a penetration testing attack. Most WhatWeb plugins are thorough and recognized in a range of queue. So now this is the complete introduction about WhatWeb. It tells us that it has over 1800 plugins. It trades off between speed and stealthiness and many more things. And you can read about this in your terminal as well. So to quit, you just have to type Q here, and let's try this on our website. So just type WhatWeb here, and we are going to use aggression level. So just type aggression, add some dash in front of this aggression command. So this is it, and then the level 3. And if we type the IP address, that is was 192.168.29.124, and if we hit enter, just have to wait a little bit for this scan to be completed. As it is a more deeper scan, it will take a lot more time. So now since we have got a whole lot of output, we can use another command, that is -v command, that is for verbose output. And what verbose output will do for us is it will give this whole content, this whole output in an organized manner with the sophisticated reading modules. So let's now again wait a little bit and let's see what we can get from this command. So as we can see, if we scroll a little bit up, we have got a lot of details about our target. So if we just simply, we can see we got a great summary about our target. It tells us the IP address, it tells its status, it tells its title as well, that was OSBWA broken web application. It tells us about the IP address. It gives us a complete summary of its server, its email addresses, its plugins. You can get a complete detailed output, as I have told you, about all these plugins. So if you don't know what a particular plugin does, you can read about it. So we have this Apache plugin here. So now the Apache HTTP server project is an effort to develop and maintain open source HTTP servers for modern operating systems, including Unix and Windows NT. And the goal of this is to provide a source, efficient and extendable server that provides HTTP services in sync with the current HTTP standards. And if we scroll a little bit, if you don't know what is jQuery, it is a fast, concise JavaScript, simplifies how to traverse HTML documents, handle events, perform animation, and add Ajax. Version being used is this, and there is detailed information about all the plugins that is being used in this particular website. That's how you can use WhatWeb tool to gather as much as information in a technical perspective, in a technical aspect about your target. This was it for this lecture. Meet you in the next one.